What's good, everyone? You're listening to WKNC 88.1 FM HD1 Raleigh. We are a student-run nonprofit radio station based out of North Carolina State University. I'm Plover, and this is Off the Record. Here with me today is Lena from the band Secret Shame. How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Doing great, thanks. Just to clarify, is Asheville in the same time zone as the rest of the state?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, good. I just a couple minutes ago was like, wait, am I an hour early or?
Yeah, no, it's 1.
Okay,
over here.
okay. Just want to make sure. So if you want to start by telling us a little bit about yourself, who are you? Where are you from? I already mentioned Asheville, but yeah.
Yeah. My name is Lena. I'm in a band called Secret Shame, and I'm from Asheville.
Nice. How'd you kind of get started making music? Was it kind of in the Asheville area? What was the origin story?
Well, I grew up in Asheville, and I've lived there my whole life, unfortunately. And I kind of have been making music as long as I can remember. My first passion was singing. And then I started making solo music when I was around the age of 10 or 11. And that progressed into playing coffee shops and solo shows. And then I met my current bassist, Matthew, when I was 18, and we started Secret Shame.
Nice. You said 10 or 11 first, but that's impressive. That's like Mozart numbers right there. What kind of music were you making?
Well, definitely nothing on Mozart's caliber. But I would write songs on piano and sing them. But usually my family and friends thought that the songs were a little dark.
Nice. So is it kind of in the line of your current music? Was there kind of a trajectory of music throughout your life up to current, sort of post-punk darker sounds?
Not exactly. I actually had never even listened to much post-punk music at all before Secret Shame started. But yeah, my bassist Matthew was like, I want to start a post-punk band. Do you want to do that? And I was like, sure. And I had no idea what that really meant. But I guess lyrically, I've always written sort of darker. I've written about darker subject matters.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. So you mentioned your bassist. How did you meet the kind of the rest of the band? What was the kind of original founding of it like?
Well, in total, we've had 9 members, and It's been me and Matthew, the bassist, the whole time, with this steady rotation in and out of other people. And then we met Nathan 4 or 5 years ago. He joined, and he's been another very solid member. That's our drummer.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody else, it seems like, will be there for a couple tours or an album cycle. And currently it's just the 3 of us.
Is there any reason for turnover? Is it just people go their own ways?
I think that, we have met some toxic people, unfortunately, and that's been hard. But also, I think that people expect that it's going to be sort of fun. But it's actually something that we're trying to make we're trying to do this with our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of work and business elements even that go into that. And there's a lot of pressure. Sometimes it's kind of hard, but I think that a lot of people aren't ready for that.
Sure, yeah, and I'm sorry you've met a bunch of toxic people, and I'm glad they're no longer in your band, of course. Just got a good lean lineup.
Yeah. Everybody's got to meet toxic people at some point, unfortunately. But yeah.
That's very true. So what do you mean by pressures? Is it from like a label or just the grind of a tour?
Yeah, we don't have a label, and we've never really had a label, but
Hmm.
it's yeah, I guess it's like, recently we got a booking agent, but for the past 6 years we've been booking our own tours, and we've been putting the albums out ourselves, and it's like, I guess there's, especially in Asheville, there's a lot of punk bands that will go on a few punk tours, and it's basically just like a party the whole time.
Hmm.
And we do have fun, and we do party to an extent, but I mean, especially me, but um, it's just not. It's more like work than I think people are used to.
For sure, yeah, that definitely sounds a lot like doing like every aspect of the music process. So do y'all handle like the mixing and mastering too, or is that like do you bring other collaborators in for that?
No, we actually, well, this last album, we actually went to a studio in Asheville that somebody, our friend, the drummer of my drummer's other band, co-owns this place, and it's an incredible studio, and we got the chance to record there, which was really amazing.
Nice. What's the name of the studio, by the way?
It's called Drop of Sun.
Awesome. Yeah, I've been meaning to check out Asheville for some time, and I need like a list of cool things to go to.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, Asheville is like I think it's a cool place to visit.
Gotcha.
It's not a good place to live.
I see.
For me, maybe other people like it. They probably do, but
Mm-hmm. What's your issue with Asheville?
I don't know. I guess with any place that you live your entire life, it can just be kind of like this daunting thing of like, oh, I know everything here. I have history in every square inch of this place.
Yeah.
But also, it's just consistently gotten, the rent is so expensive, but the minimum wage is still $7.50,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't know if that's the case with all of North Carolina.
Yeah, that especially the cities have just been hit really hard with that, and
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And I think the same thing is happening to Asheville that is happening, most places where
Mm.
it's just this boom of tourism and people buying vacation houses, and the rent is, $2,000 for a one bedroom, but you're making less than 20,000 a year.
Yeah, it's a city for like all the cities are just like for like tech workers and no one else now. It's yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
do hate to see it. Um, Not exactly related, but I heard someone recommend like a tea room in Asheville. If you know,
It's probably Dobra.
that's the one. Yeah, I can remember the
Yeah,
name. Is that a
yeah.
good spot?
Yeah, no, that the place is nice. We actually do a lot of like band work at both locations,
Nice.
because you can just kind of sit there for hours and I don't know, drink tea.
Yeah, it sounds like a very productive atmosphere.
Yeah.
Um, well, y'all of course do make music. I do want to talk about that at some point. Y'all have a new album coming out, Autonomy. How are y'all feeling
Yeah.
about that?
Um, it's well, for all of us, I think that we're really excited. It's also pretty nerve-wracking.
Hmm.
This album is a lot different from the last one we did. At least that's what we think. And it's I don't know. For me, I wrote all the lyrics in like a very unhealthy mental spot,
Hmm.
and it's really scary to put all these lyrics out into the world for anybody to listen to, and they're just all about uh, my bad mental state.
Hmm.
And anybody can look at them and listen to them and completely judge them in however they want, and people will openly do that because they don't have any sort of connection with me. So I'm kind of trying to prepare myself for any backlash.
Okay. Yeah. That sounds hard to deal with. How is it different exactly from Dark Synthetics? Is it like a different like musical style or like lyrical?
Yeah, I would say that both. We we kind of just tried to write. I think with Dark Synthetics, we had a member that tried to keep us within the guidelines of post-punk,
Mm-hmm.
and we'd write something and they would be like, well, that doesn't sound like post-punk, let's not use it. But with this album, we kind of just let ourselves do whatever we felt like we wanted to do.
Gotcha. Kind of like post punk. In that case.
It's actually post-punk punk.
Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. All right. On the same page now.
Yeah.
I assume the album cover is kind of tied into this like general, I guess, messy feeling. It looks kind of like a Jackson Pollock painting almost.
Oh, that's cool. It's yeah. We kind of just, yeah, exactly what you said. We kind of tried to make it into this like jumble of little moments.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we tried to just go with it as we did with the music.
For sure. Yeah. Not to make you kind of delve into any topics. I've been listening to the single "Hide" a lot. It's definitely one of my favorite songs of the year, and one of the of course, and one of the really cool parts is the chorus. So like, is there anything about like kind of what the, either the character or you is exactly hiding from on that song? And don't get into anything you don't want to get into.
No, yeah, I can talk about it. It is a song about myself, as are most of the songs on Autonomy. But it's I was diagnosed with anorexia over the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
and that song was really the first song I ever wrote where I kind of was trying not to hide with the lyrics.
Yeah.
But it was still in a period of time where I wasn't talking to anybody about the things that I was experiencing, and I was too scared to talk to anybody because I mean the general reasons that people are afraid to talk about their problems or mental health issues, but
Mm-hmm.
I really just was afraid of what people would think, or that they wouldn't believe me, or they wouldn't get it or whatever.
Gotcha. Yeah. I definitely hope there's some catharsis that comes out of releasing this and like being able to like be free with stuff. Hopefully that angle kind of
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
So you mentioned there was sort of pandemic issues there. Was there the pandemic, of course, very isolating and not the greatest for everyone. Is there kind of a pandemic sort of overcastness on this record?
Well, it's not. I would say so. Yeah, it's not about the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
but it is. I was. I had been in recovery for years from anorexia, and I was feeling pretty good before the pandemic started, and then that, like, being thrown into that isolation, and just being completely alone and not being able to play music, or I guess perform it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was just the isolation made me relapse into the whole thing and write the songs.
Gotcha. Yeah. So performances are kind of like a big part of the music for you. Is that like a way of like, I guess, like releasing all of the creativity in you, or something like that?
Yeah, something like that, I would say. It's also, I mean, playing shows is just really rewarding, and it's a really great experience to be like on stage with people you care about, and you're all feeling it, and
Mm-hmm.
people watching are feeling it too. And it definitely is a cathartic thing for me, but at the same time, it's sort of delving back into those things,
Hmm.
and that can be hard.
For sure, yeah. And I know in terms of your performances, like one of the kind of your like costumes and general aesthetic is a really cool like part of how your music goes. How do y'all like synchronize and like choose like costumes like makeup to like really sort of show, I guess, another level of the music and the themes you're working with?
Well, so Halloween last year, we all dressed as a different type of clown, and I felt so good in my clown outfit that I essentially just like never took it off. Um, and nobody else dresses that way on stage anymore except for me. And so it's, I mean, like sometimes the other members will wear makeup, or like cool clothes or something, but I just have really leaned into this like this like very colorful clown look. Um, and yeah, I don't know. It just makes me feel really good on stage. And yeah.
Nice. Is it kind of like a rebellious like hell yeah, I'm a clown, you can't stop me type of thing?
No, it's kind of like I'm a clown, and I um I don't know, I've always been like the funny one, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
in my groups of friends, but I also have been really sad. Um so I guess it's just sort of this like nod to how I've felt my whole life, where I'm like I am singing and talking about these like really intense things, but at the same time I'm also like um really colorful, and uh I'm a jokester. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, clowns are weirdly like tragic figures, aren't they? Like that
Yeah.
juxtaposition.
Yeah. I mean, just I'm just glad that nobody has like called me a juggalo yet, but
That's good. That's good.
yeah, but maybe soon.
Good. I don't know if you can hear. I'm currently knocking on wood that that won't happen on your upcoming tour. Uh, I think I remember seeing the clown outfit because I was at your show at the Wicked Witch, which is amazing.
Oh, cool.
Um,
Thank
uh,
you.
of course. And how'd you like the Wicked Witch? Was that it's a pretty gothy venue.
Yeah, we we've played there a few times, and we've had we've had a good time there. Definitely. We're trying to branch out from like the like spooky venue
Mm-hmm.
type places, because we don't really consider ourselves a goth band
Mm-hmm.
anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. But I would definitely play there again.
Nice.
But we're also, yeah, we're trying to find like house venues and places like that too.
For sure. When did you kind of start turning away from the like I guess goth label? Is it just like this release or just like a general like shift in style?
I would say just a general shift over the past couple years. A lot of people would like pigeonhole us as being like a spooky band,
Yeah.
and use a lot of adjectives for our music that were like dark and Halloweeny, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
that's not really how. I don't know. It just I guess it makes the the things that we're writing and the things we care about feel sort of like a gimmick that we're
Yeah.
just doing to make it sound dark, and that's not the goal. But also, just for ourselves, it's not all about what other people think and say. um, but we just, yeah, it doesn't really matter if people consider us goth, but we want to branch out from that a little bit.
For sure. Yeah. You mentioned there were kind of a lot of other punky or like kind of post-punk bands in Asheville. What's the kind of like scene like there? Either I guess for goth or like non-goth bands. Are there any like cool like venues and stuff are in that area?
There are a couple cool venues, yeah. Um, I would say Static Age is probably my favorite. It's like a DIY record store venue. And there's the Great Eagle, which is really cool for bigger shows. But the overall music scene in Asheville is really large, but specifically the alternative music scene is it kind of will fade, and then new people will move there, and it will come back, and there will be like punk bands, and there's not really goth bands or post-punk, but there are like power violence and like D-beat bands and stuff.
Okay. So you mentioned the like other scene is really big. How does like I guess like punk and rock and stuff kind of like fit in with the other stuff? Like what's kind of the other I guess genres in the overall Asheville climate?
Well, there's a lot of like bluegrass.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of funk.
Ooh, nice.
And then rock. Yeah, they do not really overlap at all.
that makes sense.
I think that people who go to like the funk shows have no idea that there are punk shows happening right around the corner.
Yeah, for sure. And bluegrass bands always have their own venues, for sure.
Yeah. It's just like somebody's backyard.
Exactly. Or like that one country bar. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Classic. I was almost going to go to the Orange Peel, I think this weekend, but then I wasn't able to make it. Did y'all go there at all?
I do not really go to the Orange Peel that often, just because it's a me problem. Well, first off, they search you really hard, and I hate that. Yeah. And also the drinks are, I mean, it's like $10 for a PBR kind of place.
God.
But also I have a lot of chronic pain, and there's not really anywhere to sit down.
Gotcha. Yeah.
It's kind of like you have to stand on these hard floors for like hours without any relief from that, and so I don't usually go there.
Yeah, I gotcha. The more one of my roommates also deals with chronic pain, and just like trying to find like good venues to like have a place to sit down is really like shockingly rare.
It's hard actually. You wouldn't expect it to be that difficult, but yeah, I guess most people want to stand when they're watching the show, which absolutely makes sense. But yeah,
that should definitely be at least a couple seats. Y'all also I know played a Hopscotch Day Party show like during I guess that week. How was that?
That was good. That was just a couple weeks ago, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was actually really good. The Poorhouse is great. It sounds really good in there.
For sure, yeah.
And yeah, that show overall was really good. The turnout was good. I mean, Hopscotch in general seems to be a good festival for even like smaller bands like us. But I mean, I don't know how people who live in Raleigh feel about it. But
yeah, people definitely appreciate it. People don't know what it is and like try to wander in, and then there's that whole thing. But we stand Hopscotch for sure. I was really sad I wasn't able to make it into your show because it was I think 21 plus at that point.
Oh really?
Yeah, I think at 6 exactly, the Poorhouse becomes like 21 plus, and so I had to leave.
That sucks. We try not to play that many 21 plus venues, but it's hard to get around it sometimes, unfortunately.
Yeah. Is it are most venues just like 21 plus because like they serve alcohol, or what's like usually the reason behind that?
It's serving alcohol. Okay. Yeah. Or, I mean, it's usually bars that do that. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes people will like throw a house show and say 21 plus just because they don't want like kids in their house. But I don't know. I think that's kind of dumb.
Yeah, gotcha. Do y'all have any shows planned since you have an album coming out? Is there anything about that?
Yeah, we're playing a handful of shows in October. Um, I'm playing a couple out of town shows and a local show, I think. And then we are headed out to go on a pretty big tour after that.
Nice. Is it just like out of state, like the East Coast, that kind of thing?
We are going to California and coming
Oh,
back.
okay. That's a big one. Um,
Yeah.
I've never been to California. What are like the kind of plans over there? Is there a good, I guess like not goth post punk scene over there for you to hop into?
It's a pretty good post punk scene.
Course.
No, it's the music scenes in California are pretty incredible. Just because there's so many big cities and so many bands come through there. Yeah, I think I've been to California several times, and it's one of my favorite places. So I'm really excited about playing in California because we've never done that before.
Nice. That sounds like a really cool opportunity. I hope y'all have a lot of fun there.
Thanks.
I remember.
I think we will.
That's great. At the show I went to with y'all, I think I remember like y'all were like all at the merch table afterwards, and you were like really like interactive and like chatting with everyone, and that was really cool. Do y'all have any like weird fan interactions at the merch table sometimes?
Oh God. I yes is the answer.
Gotcha.
I usually go straight to the merch table right after playing. And I've had some bizarre interactions. Pretty recently we played a show, and on the last song I basically started sobbing, and I couldn't really sing the ending of the song because I was crying too hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to the merch table, and there was this person who was they were like trying to get me to like cry on them.
What?
Yeah, they were like just you can give me a hug and just you can just cry on my shoulder like come here. And I was like, no, it's okay. And I had this one interaction with this woman who told me that mental health problems never go away and that everybody's going to leave you forever.
Oh, well, that's helpful.
I was like, yay, thanks. That's awesome. But yeah, no, there's a lot of weird stuff that happens.
Nice. Hopefully some good ones too, of course.
Yeah, a lot of good ones, mostly good. This one person told me that they came up to the merch table. It was the last day of our most recent tour, which was 2 weeks, and they were like, I want to congratulate you for smelling like a true human.
That is a sentence I've never heard before. Oh my.
And I was like, yeah, I mean, I've been on tour for 2 weeks. Like, I don't know what to tell you. And they were like, no, it's really like commendable that you smell the way you do. And I was like, okay, get away from me.
Yeah, like how close was this individual?
Very, very close.
Oh my.
Way too close. Yeah. And yeah, I don't know. People will say really interesting things to you that I don't think that they would say otherwise, just because like, like you get on stage and talk about some vulnerable things, and then I think people kind of remove you from humanity a little bit. And they're like, oh, I can say anything to this person because they just got on stage and said all this stuff to a room full of people,
Yeah. Yeah. It's very like the like classic like celebrity like dehumanization. Then you have to be 1 foot away from them at the merch table.
Yeah.
I was also gonna ask. I remember seeing that y'all had a a theme song for a play. What was that like? That sounds really cool. Like working
Oh,
with a playwright like that.
yeah, that was really fun. It was this local playwright that approached us and was like, I'm writing this like horror comedy play, and would love for you to do the song. And that was a really cool experience because it was the first song I've written maybe ever that was not from like my own perspective or something that I've experienced. And it was about the characters of the play. Yeah, and it was fun going and seeing the play and having the song like playing in the theater
Oh, that's really
before the
cool.
curtains opened up. Yeah, it was fun.
Oh, was it like a local like playwright?
Yeah.
Nice. I love local theater.
Yeah, it was fun. I love theater in
Hmm.
general. Um and I used to do a lot of theater, so that was just a really fun experience for all of us. And we got to kind of write this like um song where we just really leaned into like this is a this is a spooky horror song.
Yeah.
And it's fun.
Did you pick up any like I guess costuming and performing skills from theater that really helped later on the line?
um Maybe. I I definitely learned a lot of like what what do you do when you're on a stage and people are watching you? Like you have to like I don't know, in theater there's a lot of like moving your body in more extreme ways than you would normally move it. And I think that I just picked up like body emotions in general throughout my life where I'm kind of like I don't know, like an animated person since I was in theater.
Right, just like very like expressive like movements.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. Either really expressive or like sitting in the corner of the room, not
Uh,
looking at anybody.
yes, yes. Also very powerful on the stage, of course.
Sitting in the corner of the stage, like behind the drums,
Yeah, yeah.
just like shaking and screaming.
That would definitely be memorable. Yeah. Um. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
Well, I first off, I want to say thank you for having me,
Of course, this was
and
awesome.
yeah, um, but also I want to say that even though I'm the only one that could make it today, that the rest of the band is also they're great and they write really incredible music and I love them. So I just want to say that, I guess.
Yay. Hi, rest of Secret Shame. If you ever listen to this, y'all are awesome too. I appreciate y'all tuning in, and you can check out all the interviews I and everyone here does at WKNC.org/podcast and click off the record. I'm DJ Plover, and I've been here with Lena from Secret Shame on WKNC 88.1 FM Raleigh.